What's up, guys? Back by popular demand, I'm going to be doing the March 2022 math with calculator. And I'm doing this, I wasn't trying to, honestly, because last time I streamed the math with calculator, last time I streamed the math without calculator, I was fumbling the ball and it was just a mess. And I thought it was a really bad stream, but some of you are saying you really, like at least 3 or 4 of you have been saying that you really want me to do the math. So I'm going to do it, even though I'm not really prepared for it. I didn't study up on it beforehand to have like the perfect explanation. I'm just doing it because I don't want this to keep building up and like becoming like this large to-do thing that I'm just like pushing off for forever. So I'm just gonna do it, get it out of the way. And if you have questions, just ask me. Ask me whatever questions you have. I almost certainly will get stuck trying to explain a couple things, but hopefully not too many times. Maybe 1 or 2 times is the worst. So I'll be figuring out the answers to some of these questions literally in real time as I'm doing it with you. Okay, so let's just get it. Let's just be done with the 2022 March US and move on to other things. I'm excited just to be done with this. So here we go. Bah! Stop doing this to me, College Board. Because then every time I have to go and edit this email. Ah! So annoying. All right. Maybe I should just accept that the whole world is just gonna know my email address. It's so annoying. 진짜 미치겠네. All right, gonna go. Wait, what? Oh, this is the May. Yep, I'll be taking it. Dude, what? All this ridiculous personal information just like being leaked everywhere. Okay. Yes, I'm born 1988. Okay, so I am now into the math test. Here we go. Math with calculator. I got 2 wrong. So let's go over these questions one by one, and I'll show you how I solve them. Okay, I'll show you how I solve them. You know what? I have to set up my QuickTime so that you can actually see my screen. So give me a second while I connect my iPad to my QuickTime. Okay. Where's my notes menu? Boop, boop. Okay, here we go. And we're down here. All right, and I just need to bring my QuickTime into my screen. Right, so you should be able to see my QuickTime. I'm gonna put this on the right side over here, so you should be able to see my work here, like that. Cool. And I'm gonna go into question number 1, so you should be able to see everything pretty clearly. What? Only 2% battery? Didn't I charge this like 2 days ago? All right. Well, let's get. That means I'm gonna have to take a quick break to just sort of like charge my pencil, but I want to just get started ASAP. So here we go. It is estimated that humans begin REM sleep 90 minutes after falling asleep. Based on this estimate, how many seconds? So 90 times 60. Okay, 5,400. Moving on. So that's B. Okay, for this, I'm gonna try to see how much of this I can just explain verbally. And let me see if I can actually charge my... Can I charge my Apple Pencil on my phone? I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to charge it. I don't think it's actually charging though. So I'm gonna go without the iPad for a second because I need to charge it on the iPad, which is this very silly decision by Apple when they first developed the Apple Pencil. that I have to use iPad like this. But anyway, my right now you won't be able to see my iPad just because I'm charging my Apple Pencil. But I feel like the easy questions I should be able to explain verbally. So here we go. The function g is defined by g equals 4x minus 2. What's g minus 3? So what is g of minus 3? Just plug in minus 3. So that's 4 times minus 3. 4 times minus 3 is negative 12. Minus 2 is minus 14. Track meter. You are a passionate student. So running for I'm trying to make a. What event do you do? I did track for 1 year when I was in high school. It was mainly to get out of the PE requirement because I was not a very athletic boy at all, and track seemed like the most manageable sport for me. But obviously I was in the last heat. I was terrible at this. But learning to run stuck with me for life. So I'm actually not a bad runner still to this day. So track and SAT. Racing for your time and racing for your score. All right, here is the second question though. You want to have minus 12 minus 2, and that is minus 14. So that's D. Moving on. For AC shown, the length of BC is 2 times the length of AB. So this means it's 1 to 2. So basically, like you can even just do it visually. If you know that this is BC is 2 times the length of AB, then basically it's just 10 plus 10 plus 10, right? So what equation represents the situation? You can say AB times 2 or x times 2 is equal to 20. X times 2 is equal to 20. So x times 2 is equal to 20. So 2x, 2x is equal to 20. That's D. Okay, I'm going to double check my iPad to see how much my pencil charged. It's at 15%. I'm just going to wait a little longer to get it to like maybe 25% and move on. All right, so here is question 4. Question 4 says, 2 people sweep the floor. The table gives their sweeping rates in square yards per minute. Oh, sweeping rates in square yards per minute. I don't know why there's a comma there. There shouldn't be a comma there. Or I guess it can be there, but whatever. It was to confuse me. Also, this table is like really poorly formatted online, so it's impossible to read. It almost feels impossible to read. It's not actually impossible to read. I'm exaggerating. Here we go. One of them is 4/3, 33% faster than the other. If each person sweeps the floor for 5 minutes, how much greater of an area? Oh, so an easy way of doing this is subtracting 16 minus 12. So that's 4, and that's the difference. Every minute, Eric outpaces Jeremy by 4 yards squared, and then multiply 4 by 5. So that's 20. A. Okay. 16 minus 12 is equal to 4. That's how much he outpaces him. Then if you do that 5 times, 5 minutes, 20. Cool. So then we have question number 5. Which expression is equivalent to this? So remember that when you're multiplying these exponents, you're just adding them up. You're adding up what's up on top. What's it called? Coefficient. You know what? I need to learn this. I'm going to learn this right now. Okay. Coefficient, exponent. I need to learn the definition of these things. Power, label, names, coefficient, constant, variable, and exponents. Powers and exponents. I don't even know what a polynomial means anymore. Okay, so this is the base. This is the exponent. What is the power? 3 to the first power. What the heck are we talking about? I don't know names of things, man. Anyway, this is the base and that's the exponent. Okay, so I'm gonna, at least I have the names. So I don't know, what is a coefficient? Coefficient in math. A coefficient is, oh, it's the thing in front of a variable. Oh, stupid. Oh, okay, and that's a constant. Okay, now I know. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is you're just multiplying the exponents, or you're just adding the exponents since the base is the same. So it's 3x to the 6th power plus x to the 5th power. So 6th, 5th, and then 4th. All right, so that's B. Okay, I feel like my pencil should be charged enough. It's 33%, so I'm gonna connect my iPad back to the computer. Okay, so that you should be able to see my work now, because we got some of those easy questions out of the way. And yes, by the way, I do intend to take the math with calculator section without a calculator for most questions. I just don't. I think it's a waste of time to use the calculator for most of those questions. But this time I probably will bring a calculator, just so that I don't want to buy a calculator. You don't really need a calculator for any of them. That's the thing. Anyway, there's only a couple where you have to do a little bit of like slow down on mental math, and that usually I have so much free time that it's not that much of a stress to do it. All right. The function f is defined by f of x equals 2x minus 4. What is the y-intercept of the graph of y equals f of x? Oh, so you're just looking for the y-intercept, meaning when x is 0, when x is 0. So put, like, when f of x is 0, okay, then what is f of 0? That's minus 4. So 0, 4. 0 minus 4, so that's D. Okay. Number 7. The table summarizes the number of public schools in 2 counties in 2017. Oh, dude, I have to like draw this up. This is such an ugly, hang on. Let me draw this up. So we're looking at LA, SD, and total. We're looking at elementary, middle school, and high school and total. Middle school, high school, and total. So let me put this over here. And the numbers are 1395. Hang on, I don't want to fill in all the numbers right now. Let me figure out what the question is asking first. A public middle school will be selected at random from 2 counties. So a public middle school will be selected at random from 2 counties. What is the probability to the nearest 100 of selecting a school in San Diego County? So I just need these two. A public middle school, right. So these two are 165 and 587. So what's 165 divided by 587? And what I know is that 165 over 587 is it's greater than 150 out of 600, which is equal to 1/4. Okay, 165 over 587 is greater than 160 over 600, and it's probably smaller than 180 over 600, which is equal to hang on. This is how I would do it without calculator. But 180, so 180 times 180 divided by 3 is 6. 3 over 20, 3 over 20, 3 over 20, 15%. So 15 out of 100. So I'm somewhere between 15% and 25%. So I'm looking at something like 0.2. So that's B. Hey, what? Oh my God. I was supposed to be greater than 25%. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my God. I'm supposed to be greater than 25%. It's greater than 25%. So I was supposed to be looking at C. Oh my God. Mental math. Now, this is what you do when you don't have a calculator, but as long as you're not being sloppy on the real test, at least I got this right on the real test without a calculator, but just now in my stupid stream, I got it wrong. But anyway, that's how I would have calculated it, okay? I know that it's greater than 150 over 600, so I would have gone for something that is greater than 25%. And actually, on the real test, I actually didn't do this step. Like, I didn't complicate it myself. So, you know what? Now that I think about it, doing that step actually made me more confused, and it made it more complex. Whereas if I just know for sure it's greater than 25%, but close to 25%, then I would have just gone for C right away. So, guys, what I just did is artificial. I actually made it more complicated than the way I would have done it. So, quick tip on mental math. Don't do it the way I showed it to you. This is better. The one that's actually on the screen right now, that's much better. All right, moving on to question number 8. A museum built a scale model of the solar system throughout a city where 1 mile represents 400 million. The model is X miles away. So 400 million times X, that's A. Yeah, because 1 mile, because 1 mile is 400, is X miles. Okay, so that's A. I don't know how else to explain this other than every mile refers to 400 million miles, so just multiply it. Okay, if you have questions on any of these, because some of these are kind of obvious to me, but because I'm not a math tutor, I don't sometimes have like the best language to describe things. Okay, if there's a question that you need an explanation for, please leave a comment or please type something into the chat. Otherwise, I will just move on. I will just sort of explain it to you in the way that it's obvious to me. Okay, I will not necessarily do additional labor without any further questions on explaining something that's obvious to me. Okay, so moving on to question number 9. The list shown gives the heights in inches for 6 10-year-old children. The 7th child with a height, a 7th child with a height of 60 inches will be added to the group. And how will the median and the mean change when the 7th child is added? Well, you can tell from 52, 53, 54, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, you're going to have a taller kid join at the end. So the median used to be these two, but it's going to shift over to this one. Okay, the median is going to shift over to this one. Well, the average of 54 and 54 is still 54, so that's that. But then now that the median has shifted over to 54, on the right side, the median stays the same, but because this is going to weight everything higher, the average will increase. The mean will increase. Okay, I'm looking at the left side of the page now. The mean will increase, but the median will remain the same, so that's C. Okay, question 10. In a certain school district, 36 high school students were selected at random. Hey guys, my dinner came, so give me a sec. I'll be right back. All right, so now we're at question 10. Question 10 says, in a certain school district, 36 students were selected at random for a study. During October, each student reported the average amount of time to the nearest half hour spent the internet. Then spent reading offline on Saturdays, and the average amount of time also using the internet on Saturdays, Okay, so online and offline Saturdays. Okay, the lineup best fit underestimates one student's reported average time because by more than 2 hours. More than 2 hours. So I need to zoom in. I'm looking for, so this plot line is going to be the average, and I need to look for something that's greater than 2 hours. This is time spent reading using the internet. Okay, we're looking for I think the y-axis right now. Let's just double check time spent using the internet on Saturdays. But okay, right. So I'm definitely looking at the left side. Okay, I'm looking at the y-axis. So I'm looking for a vertical. I'm looking for a vertical gap of more than 2 hours. So what is that, right? So over here, the one thing to notice is that two is more than two. What do you call these? Two grid marks. Two lines. I don't know what to call this. Is only equal to 1 hour. So you need to have something that's 4 greater. You need to have something that's 4 greater. And look at this kid. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half, like almost 5, right? So that's almost 2.5 hours greater. And that kid had spent time reading offline for 1.5 hours that on average. So that's B. Okay. Same graph. According to the line of best fit, if a student spends an average of 1.25 hours reading offline, so that's looking over here, okay, over here. I don't know if you should be able to see my mouse. Yeah, you can see my mouse. I'm looking over here. Which of the following is the best estimate of time that they would be expected to use the internet on Saturdays? We're just following the line of best fit, and we're looking between these two, and so we're seeing basically 2.75. 2.75, that's C. Okay. Now we're going to math with calculator question 12. Line K is defined by y equals minus x, negative slope, plus 5. Line J is parallel. What is the slope of line J? It's minus 1. It's definitely A because of the slope here being minus 1x plus 5. So then, if this is parallel, it has to also be minus 1, A. Okay, these are not requiring any, these don't really require my iPad. So just remember though, the formula for that is y equals mx plus b, right? So m, when you say minus x, this means minus 1x. All right. For a survey, students were assigned to either group R or group V. Combined, the students in both groups answered a total of 17 questions. Okay, so R plus V equals 17. That's total. Of these, a total of 9 questions were answered by group V. 4R plus 9. Okay. I'm gonna quickly sign in. Okay, I'm getting used to the College Board just kicking me out. Let me just blank this for a second while I sign back in. While I'm doing this, might as well just mention, if you are watching at this time, you can feel free to ask me any questions that you have. Okay, and I'm going through, hang on, I should be back in, so let me turn it back on. All right, that works, cool. And March, test questions, math with calculator. I think I was somewhere in the range of like 12 or so. $13. Okay, here. So 4R plus 9. Where R okay, where R refers to the number of questions answered by each student in group R. So what's the best interpretation of 4R as a total? It's just like the total number that the group R answered, which is C. There's no reason, there's no need to divide anything by 4 or anything like that. Just R. When I drew this, I just knew that number 17 was equal to the total of the number of questions grouped answered by group R and the total of the number of questions answered by group V. So then that's just what R means to me when I made this solution. When I wrote this equation. How many solutions does the equation 5x plus an infinite number? You know why? Because it says 5x plus 1 is equal to 5x plus 5. And then when you say that this is equal to 5x plus 5, then how many solutions do you have for x? An infinitely, like x can be anything, it will always be correct because they're equal to each other. That's D. Okay, moving on. The age and average amount of money is being shown right now. The results of a survey of the average amount of money D that consumers would be willing to spend on a product and the corresponding age in years. So the older they are, the less likely they are to spend money. Okay? Which equation could represent this linear relationship? This linear relationship where we're talking about where the output is D, where the Y is D. Okay, so we could actually graph this if we had time, but the way to figure this out is by taking the endpoints, okay? And basically 42 is D, right? 42 is D, so we just need to have some way of understanding the slope and this. Hang on, how would I explain this eloquently? First things first, I know that this has to be in the form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, that's the form that it has to be. So the main thing I want to really understand is m, which is for every year that they increase, how much does the dollar value decrease? So look over here, okay? Oh, and I know it's linear just because if I just look at these 4 answer choices, they're all linear. So over here, there's a difference in age of 3. Okay, that's the difference in x on the x-axis of 3. But here the difference is $6, which means that the slope is 2. Basically, let's just double check and extrapolate that makes sense. Over here, the difference of age is 5 from 28 to 33. Over here, the difference of age is the difference in dollars is 10. So what I know for sure is that the slope is 2, but it goes negative. Okay, the higher up the age goes, for every year somebody is older, they're $2 less likely to spend. They're likely to spend $2 less on that particular product. So now I already have 2x of minus 2 of x, but in this case it's not x, it's a because it's age. So I'm going to change it to a. And over here, instead of y, I'm going to say d. Now the hard-ish part is I have to figure out what b is. So for me to figure out what b is, all I need to do is then decide what is the what would the b be when it's 0? Okay, when it's 0. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, though, actually a little faster way of doing it, is just to input one of the a's and d's. So how do I find out what b is? Let's just input a and d for 25-year-olds. So minus 2 times 25 is equal to $42, okay, plus b. So whatever this b is, we can plug it back into here, okay? So minus 50 is what minus 2 plus 25 is. Let's just add 50 on both sides. So that's 92. 92 is B. So the answer is D equals minus 2A plus 92. Okay? Which makes sense because it should be pretty high if you want to get down to 42 by the time you're 25. So that's A. Where's the answer? Okay, over here. Cool. Moving on. Four x plus 1, 4x plus 1 is equal to 6, 2x plus 1. If x is a solution to the given equation, what is the value of x plus 1? If x is the solution, then what is the value of x plus 1? We just need to figure out what x... Oh, you know what? We can ignore the if part and then just look for... Let's just say that x plus 1 is equal to y. Okay, let's just call it y and let's simplify it. Then if we do that, then what we get is 4y is equal to 6 plus 2y. Okay? So let's solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 2y on both sides. Then what I get is 2y is equal to 6. So y is equal to 3. So, but then we know that y over here, this was the assumption I made, is equal to x plus 1. So that's my answer. So that's B. The initial number of bacteria in a population is 10K. The bacteria in the population are observed to double every 12 hours. So the initial population is... I assume this is time, yeah? On the x-axis. Okay, cool. And, great, right, because x hours is time. Which graph represents the number of bacteria, y in thousands, x hours afterwards? So the first thing we need to start with is make sure that our x-intercept, our y-intercept is correct. At 0, it should be 10K. 10K, 10K, and 10K. So what we have at 0 is 10K, which is fine. Now we should be noticing that it's going to double every 12 hours. So every 12 hours it should double, and every 24 hours, I'm already jumping the gun a little bit. For some reason the zoom is not working. Give me a sec. Okay, here we go. So every 12 hours it should actually quadruple because we should be doubling here and then 1, 2, quadrupling here. And so this basically seems like the correct answer. I can just make sure we're quadrupling. We're quadrupling again. What's the quadruple of 40,000? It would be 160. So over here, that's 160. And by 48 hours, so every 24 hours, it should quadruple. And this is quadrupling. This is correct. So it's A. Beep. All right. Now we're at question 18. The box plots shown summarize the data in each of 4 data sets. Which of the 4 data sets has a range of 6? Oh, so this is just asking me to know how to read box plots, and I just need to find something where there's a difference of 6, and here we are, 3 to 9. That's the range. Okay, and I think these are the middle 2 quartiles, right? So the range is the whole range. So you want to start from 3 to 6, and that is correct. Is there anything else where, and nothing else is 6 anyway, so it has to be data set D. So that's kind of an easy question, but it says medium, which for some reason. I guess it's because some kids just don't remember how to read these things. A forest containing different species trees has T, total number of trees, and H, total number of hickory trees, and K, oak trees. So H plus K equals T, but I kind of vaguely remember. If a tree is and we're looking at the probability of selecting tree that is neither hickory nor oak, plus x. Okay, there's like this other thing that we're looking for. Okay, so which expression represents the probability of selecting a tree that is neither hickory nor oak? This is hickory and oak. Okay, so we need to look for basically x over t, right? That's the end outcome. That's the answer. But if you look at these answers, none of them say x over t. So how do you find out x over t? You have to just solve for x first. So that's like the more hard, like brute force, the brute force, what do you call it? Algebraic way. I mean, I kind of do this intuitively, but let me actually go and walk through these steps. So what does x equal? X is equal to t minus h minus k. So then put that, so x over t is equal to t minus h minus k divided by t, which is equal to 1 minus h plus k over t. But I didn't even need to do that last step. It's just b. T minus h minus k plus t over d. Yeah. So that's b. Okay. Now we're at math with calculator question 20. Question 20. In the xy plane shown, the quadrants are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. The graph is minus x plus 2h squared plus k, where h and k are positive constants. The graph is a parabola. In which quadrant is the vertex of this parabola? Okay, so parabola is that curvy thing. Okay, so and what I know for sure is we're an upside down thing because of that negative in front of the minus x plus h squared. Okay, so in which quadrant is the vertex of this parabola? Well, plus h, okay, plus h is going, dude, how do I explain this? Okay, how do I do this? So x plus h means that the vertex of the parabola is on the left side. Okay, because you only get a 0. You only turn the x plus h into a 0 if you put it on, if you make x a negative number. Okay, so it has to be either 2 or 3. Then it says plus k, and that means that the vertex of the parabola has to be on the top side because k is a positive number. Okay, so in this case, it's going to be left top, which is 2. I'm doing this from memory, so let's see if I'm right, but that's basically what I remember. Okay, now, and I remember this. The crazy thing is I remember this even though I don't know why this is true anymore. Okay, but right, so how do you get the highest possible k value? Okay, the highest possible k value is the k value that is the what do you call it? The y coordinate of the parabola. Okay, why is the k value the highest possible one? It's because the parabola is negative, since the vertex is flipped because it's negative. That's exactly correct. Exactly correct. So that makes k the highest value, which is why you want to turn this whole thing into a 0. And the way to turn that into a 0 is by getting making x equal negative h. And then that gives you the exact coordinate, the coordinate of your parabola. Coordinates of the vertex of the parabola, which becomes minus h k. And minus hk, minus hk, well, we know that both of these are positive constants. I think constants is the right word, right? Yeah, they're positive constants, so it has to be on the left side and on the top side, so that's quadrant 2. Okay. All right, so what I just did right now is I just went through and actually I just had to think about why that formula makes any sense as a parabola, but yeah. That's why I got it correct, even though I just did it from memory. Asa, amazing supplementary explanation. Yeah, you're right on. You were right on. Whereas the vertex will be at the lowest, will be quadrant 3 if it is positive. If what is positive? If if the parabola is a positive parabola. Is that true? Would it not be? I don't know why suddenly. Are you saying that the vertex would be? No, I think if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that the vertex of this would be in quadrant 3, but I don't think that's accurate. I think the vertex of this would still be quadrant 2. So unless I'm making some sort of mistake here, if h was negative. Oh, there we go. If h was negative, right? If we had a minus h, then it would push it to the right side and to the top side. So that would be quadrant 1. I think we're just sort of jumbling some things, but that would be quadrant 1 if it was x minus h. Yeah. So yes. We're just right now. What we're doing is all three of us. I think everyone who's chatting right now completely understands the formula and how it works. We're just like jumbling our pluses and minuses. That's all we're doing. But I'm realizing something. You know, all you really want to do is find the x and y, right? You're just finding the x and the y, and then you just have to think, you know, what's the point at which the y would be coming to a point. So you just need to make this thing a 0. So you just got to go the opposite direction of this plus sign here. Okay, so in this case, because this is a plus sign, you want to go into a negative direction for the y, and then for this one you want to go in the same direction. So you want to go in the positive direction for negative direction for the x, and the positive direction for the y, which gives us quadrant 2. And everyone else right now, we're just talking about hypothetical other equations, but we're not able to share the screen together, which makes it a little harder to explain. But yes, everyone understands how the formula works. So good job, guys. Minor confusion there, but it's just plus and minus signs is all that was about. Let's go to 21. 21. At the beginning of the day, there were 500 items for sale in a store. The number of items for sale at the end of the day was R% less than the number at the beginning of the day. Okay, so basically 500 times R% less. So 1 minus R, and multiply that, and that's what you get at the end of the day. End of day. Okay, so which expression represents the number? Oh, so yeah, I mean, I basically got it. Oh, except it's done in this super awkward way. Hang on, so we just need to figure out this. We just need to write this in a different way. Why? Oh, I see. Stupid. 100 minus r divided by 100 is 1 minus r. Percent. 1 minus r percent. Oh, the reason is because the percent sign was what was confusing me. Right, this is 1 minus r over 100 is what I was be looking for, because it says r percent less rather than r is the percent. Okay, so this is one of those SAT questions that are trying to make sure that when you see the word, the variable r, and then it puts the percent sign afterwards, then it doesn't mean, when I say, for example, when I say r, if I say r percent is equal to 90, then that means that r is equal to, is equal to 90%, then that means that r is equal to 90. And so the SAT is just being silly to try to trick you with these little conventions. So just being careful with that. Okay, so I have to sign back in because the SAT just keeps kicking me out every, like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something like that. So I'll turn off my screen for just a second while I sign back in. Thanks for taking your time and explaining each question. Yeah, no problem. And I really was not expecting people to want me to explain math because I'm not good at explaining math, but people keep saying it's actually useful. I'm shocked personally. I'm shocked that it is useful just because I feel like I'm such a bad math teacher. But you know, if you guys like it, you like it. I'm not gonna knock you for that. Yeah, thanks for. I'm glad I'm being helpful. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm glad I'm being helpful. Let me just log back in first. So I'm just going to need one more minute. This site is just taking a little bit of time. And as I'm waiting for the login, I just want to say one more thing. It's just that because I'm not a professional math tutor, I'm not teaching math on the regular, you know, like day to day. I don't know what kinds of questions most kids have. Like, I don't have a sense of what is commonly a thing that kids get confused on. So I'm going to explain these questions one by one in the way that's natural to me without even using the proper math terms. Okay, it's just through my intuition. So I'm just doing it through the way, like Saul speak. Yeah, Saul logic, Saul speak. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's totally natural. Just ask me questions, and I'll actually further elaborate what this Saul logic actually means. Okay, so that's my little spiel. Feel free to ask questions in the chat if you're watching right now, or in the comments below if you're watching later. I have to go find the thing. Where is it? Oh, yeah. Math with calculator. I forgot what number. Let's say it's around 21 or so. Oh, perfect. Yeah. So now I'm at 22. I'm very careful, huh? You know, it's funny. I probably should watch other people's YouTube, but I'm so lazy I don't. I have no idea. How careful other people are. I didn't know that, but thanks for clarifying. Let's go to 22. The area of a certain right triangle is given by this equation, where B is the length of one of the legs. So which represents the shortest leg? So the area of a triangle is, the shortest leg is B. Okay. Because the area of a triangle, so I already know that B is the correct answer, so I'm just going to confirm it right now. Okay, I'll explain how I got it though. The area of a triangle is 1/2, especially if it's a right triangle, of side, I'm just going to call it X and Y right now, of XY. Okay, so because it's a right triangle, okay, if I have an X over, I'm going to do X here, and if I have a Y here, you know, this would be a rectangle. And rectangle is XY, but then you just have to have half of that. So the question now is then, if 1/2 of XY is the formula for it, then this formula right here, which is 1/2 of B to B, well, just which one's the shorter one, right? The shorter one is the one that's not double the length of the other one. So that's definitely B. This is just you doing like mental gymnastics to like take these formula and like interpret the meaning of the formula. As long as you understand genuinely the meaning of the formula, then you know you're not just like memorizing the formula and you have no idea why the formula is true. You're just sort of like using the formula to, if you're just basically being a calculator, okay? Calculators don't understand formulas. You just code them to use the formulas to pump out numbers, right? That's what calculators do. If you are a calculator, you will not know how to do this on your own. But if you are a human being who is thinking about these formulas, and you know why the formula makes sense, then you should be able to figure these out very quickly without even being able to explain it necessarily, which is what I did, which is B. 23. I'm seeing some questions here. Okay. Before I do 23, I'll just quickly read this question. Math section. I have never used College Panda, so I have no clue. Erica Meltzer's book for writing is a very no-nonsense, very quick and fast, efficient way of just learning the basic concepts. If you know all the basic concepts already, then Erica Meltzer doesn't give that much practice from what I remember, but doesn't give no practice, so it's good to kind of get the practice over. But if you've done the Meltzer book, you'll get a pretty good general sense of how to attack all the grammar questions, and then you can then you can just go into the QAS and just fine tune. Okay, if you feel like you're still weak even after going to the Erica Meltzer book, I guess College Panda, I would have to see actual College Panda writing question examples, because sometimes test writers will kind of pick the most annoying, unuseful, like pedantic grammar questions and just put it into their book, because that's what makes books sell, when it's like, oh, we have these really hard questions, so answer them. And then they go through these like overly technical questions that don't actually come out on the SAT just because they're trying to sell their books. So I don't trust a lot of books generally. I would rather just recommend taking the QAS. But if you tell me about the College Panda book, sorry, if you share some weird questions from the College Panda book when you do it, if you ever do it, just share them with me, and then I'll give you my opinion. And maybe later on, when I'm feeling less lazy, I'll kind of go through the College Panda book myself as well. I'm not making any promises right now, though. I'm a pretty lazy person. but College Panda, maybe in the future, I'll go through it. So that's that. Going to question 23 now. 94 ice course. Oh yeah, this one was fun, and I got this one wrong because I didn't do the dividing by 2 for the radius, which was very stupid. But let's get into this. 94 ice core sections from a glacier. Each section was in the shape of a right circular cylinder. Had a length of 1 meter, diameter 0.1 meter. Okay, of the 94 sections. So basically, we're trying to get the total volume, which is equal to 94 times the volume of 1. Okay, which is my awkward annotation. So let's find out the volume of 1. The volume of 1 is, so I'll just do it graphically, just so everybody understands. It's 1 meter in terms of height, and then the radius. Okay, the diameter is 0.1 meters, so the radius is 0.5, but that's not important now that I think about it, because, wait, pi r squared, right? No, it is important. Sorry, it is important. You need to get pi of r squared to get this little mini area over here. So this area is equal to pi r squared, which is equal to pi times 0.5 squared. Pi times 0.5. No, 0.05. 0.05 squared. Okay, so that means the volume of this is 1 times pi of 0.05 squared. This is the height, and this is the area. Which means our total volume is equal to 94 times pi times 0.05 squared is equal to, hang on, 0.05 squared. I'm gonna do this without calculator just to keep my brain turned on, like the way it used to be when I was in high school. So you want to have 25, and then you want to have 4 decimal places. So 25, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2. So that's super awkward. So what this basically means is 94 times pi times 25% divided by even 100. Yeah, so then I'm going to make this equal roughly to 100 times pi times 25% divided by 100. So basically it's a third of pi, but pi is equal to 3.14 over 3. Okay, so basically we're getting close to 1. Hang on. Now I'm scared. Like, I'm legitimately scared. Because what I did is I did 2 approximations. I approximated this, and then I also approximated this. So I want to just double check. This one made it a little higher, okay, because I went from 94 to 100. And this one made it a little, this approximation at the bottom made it a little lower. Okay, so I should be getting close to 1 here. What? Okay, 1 is not an answer choice. Well, 1 could be an answer choice if it's D. Okay, pi r squared, right? 0.05 times 5, okay. Times height, we already had the height, which is 1 meter, times 94 of them. So I feel like all of this should basically be correct. Oh, sorry, why did I do, oh, I see. Why did I do divided by 3? This is divided by 4. My bad. That's what the problem was. So it's, yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Pi divided by 4. 4. So a fourth of pi, which then becomes D. Okay. Because a fourth of pi is less than 1 for sure. So that's D. Yep. And and the reason I chose C was because I didn't do pi r squared, I did pi diameter squared, which is why I got that one wrong on the real test. Okay. Whew. I got nervous for a second. I was like, no, it's just like my last stream where I'm just like making stuff up in real time and trying to figure out what I'm doing. God, it's so embarrassing making math mistakes in public like this. But anyway. Whatever, man. I'm just effing around at this point. Question 24. In the figure shown, GE and DH intersect at point F. Okay, that's true. Which of the following additional statements are sufficient to prove that DEF is similar? Okay, so similarity just means that all the angles are the same. So let's go and find them real quick. The length of DE is 1/3 the length of HG. That is definitely not sufficient. DE is parallel to HG. That is sufficient. That's all you need. But how do I know that? I just know that from my intuition because when I was in high school, I did all the geometry and all the algebra, and every time I learned a new formula, I went and double checked and I proved that the formula made sense to me. And I don't know if this is something that most kids do, but But like for me, whenever I learned the formula, I was like, I wonder why that formula is correct. And then I would just like prove that formula to myself. And once I proved the formula to myself, I could be like, okay, cool. Now I don't have to remember this formula at all. Whenever I need it, I can just rebuild this formula for the test. So usually what would happen, a lot of time what would happen is because I didn't study for math tests, I don't think I studied a lot for math tests when I was in high school. I don't remember really. But I would just go into a math test, and if I just didn't know the formula, I'd just rebuild it. And I think that's what's paying off right now. Because I built all these formulas in my head back in the day, now everything just makes sense to me, and I just sort of remember it without even studying it. It's kind of crazy to me, actually. It's crazy to me that I just know these things without studying it. But I just know that 2 is sufficient. That's all you need. Now, it'd be hilarious if I'm wrong, but B is what I'm going for. Yeah. Because these 2 angles are definitely the same. And if these are parallel, okay, then these 2 angles are also definitely the same. Which means the final 2 have to also be exactly the same. I have no idea how to explain this. All I know is that I know it. The way I could physically do it is I could get like some rulers, and then we can take like a compass and like measure it. But I just know it has to be true. I have no other way of proving this right now. I'm sorry, I'm not a math teacher. I just know it, and you guys should know it too. I'm gonna move on. I'm like trying to think of how to explain it, but I don't know how. Moving on to 25. The scatter plot shows relationship between 2 variables, x and y. A line of best fit for the data is also shown. Yeah, sure. Which data point has an actual value that is 2 more than the y value predicted? Okay, so y value means vertically the dot has to be more than 2 above the little thingy. So which data point has an actual y value that's 2 more? So let's just find the one that's 2 more. So let's just look at the y value. And when we say 2 more, we don't mean more than 2 more. We just literally mean 2 more. So we need to find something that's 2 more. I think I might have made a mistake here because I think I remember doing this, 1, 2, right? But this is actually not 2 more. This is actually 4 more. If you notice, every single one of these marks is actually 2 more. So it's one of these stupid little nitpicky things where you just have to look for this one, not this one. Okay, I got tricked, and on the real test I chose this one, but that's the reason is because I didn't read the y-axis. So it's actually this one, which is 530. That's D. Yeah, embarrassing. Oh, the other reason that this is wrong is because there's 2 of them. That there's 320, and then there's 638. So 320 and 630. I guess they only show 320, so I guess technically it could have been correct if I was looking for 2 marks more, but yeah. Never mind. I was trying to explain this whole thing about how there would be 2 answers that are the same, but it's actually not the case because the 638 doesn't show up here. So just basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, ignore the last 15 seconds of everything I just said. Okay. Anyway, 320 is what you're looking for because you should be looking for 1 mark more or 1. Somebody remind me if you guys know, like, what are these lines called? Like, I think they have a name, but I'm trying to say 1 mark more or 1 line more, right? But that doesn't seem like the proper mathematical term. So anyway, you're looking for 1 mark more because you're trying to look for 2 numbers more, 2 integer values higher. Okay. If you know what the actual technical term for that line is, let me know. 26. Plant height is 1.25 times its height from last week. Percent is 25%. D. Remember, 1.25 is 25% increase. So 1.25 times height is a 25% increase. So you just have to know the definitions of these percentages. Okay, so D. I don't know how else to explain that other than the increase is 25%. 27. Looking at 27 is, in a forest, white pine trees between 15 and 45 grew 36 to 48 inches each year. So it grew a range every year, which is kind of unusual. Okay. A 15-year-old tree growing in the forest was 240 inches tall. All of the possible values for the tree's height at the end of its 45th year. Okay, so basically, it starts at 240, and okay, both of these start at 240. I'm trying to find the min and the max. So the minimum it could have grown after 45 years, and the maximum it could have grown after 45 years is plus 45 times min, okay, plus 45 times max. So, and every year it's anywhere between 36 annually or 48 annually. 36 annually and 48 annually. Except, we're not looking at all 45 years. We're looking at only 30 years. The duration is 30 years, okay? Because it's a 15-year-old tree that becomes 45. So actually the duration is 30 years each. And then the annual growth is 36 inches per year or 48 inches per year. And the base was 240. So now we just calculate these and we get roughly something like 1,240. Okay, I'm just doing an approximation right now because 30 times 30 is 900, right? So 30 times 36 is more than 900. It's like about 1,000. I'm just being lazy about it. It's like maybe 1,300. And then this is about 1,500 plus. So this is about 1,740. Okay, so I'm looking for numbers that are close to 1,240 and 1,740, which is D. Am I right? I feel confident. Let's go. Oh God, I'm getting nervous now. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting nervous because I made this stupid mistake earlier on when I was streaming. So now I'm like, oh my God, is my math terrible? Anyway, that is that number. What number was that? 27. Going to 28, but I see a question, so let me just read it. April 2018 QAS. So right now I'm debating not doing the math. I wonder if there is a math. It's like a collection of like the 3 hardest math questions from every single year. Because I'd rather just do that. Because if I want to get a 1600 on the May test, I don't want to spend like hours and hours on every single math test, especially when I don't love my explanations. My online explanation for math it's like this sort of, it sucks. I mean, I just feel like I'm struggling every time I'm explaining math. I know you guys like it, but it's not enjoyable for me to be so embarrassed about myself every time I'm explaining math. So I'm debating skipping the math, if that's what you're talking about. Now, for April 2018 QAS, I definitely will do it, but I decided to simplify my life. To simplify my life, I was just going to start with the oldest QAS and to just come back up chronologically. So let me see what I wrote in the description below. What did I write? Oh, it's a TBD, that's why. In a previous video, I actually set it out, but here's what I'll say, okay? I'll go over the April 2018 QAS probably within 2 weeks. I'll go over it as soon as possible, just because I think I'm going to start in 2016, but I want to churn through a lot of practice tests in the next 3 weeks, like a lot. So I think I'll definitely hit the April 2018 soon, like in the next 2 weeks or so. But the way for me to the way for me to actually get through a lot of QASs is to skip the math altogether. I'm just going to skip all the math, and then I'll probably spend like 3 days or so right before the test just actually reviewing the math on my own. Maybe not streaming, maybe streaming, I don't know. But I'll just like try to get my math up to a level where I feel like I can get 1600 or 800, I mean, on the math. So that's my current plan. Right. But if you have specific questions about April 2018 QAS, and you don't want to wait like 2 weeks for me to actually get around to it, yeah, just come into the Discord and just ask questions, and I'll just what do you call it? I'll like answer your specific questions when I see them. All right, I am at. Oh, I got logged out again. Give me a sec. I'm gonna hide my screen for a sec. I feel like I should have like elevator music for every time this happens. I don't know if anyone wants to listen to like 1970s punk rock, but that's what I've been listening to. It's definitely not elevator music. Okay, I am turning this back on, and I'm looking for my questions again. I think I was at 27, right? 28. Wait, 27 was the trees. I just did that one. Okay, 28 is a hard one apparently. Let's look. P% of x is 3. What? That's not. Why is that hard? Okay, so 3 is equal to x times p%. So that's equal to p over 100 x. Oh, and now I have to represent x in terms of p. So now let's do this is an equation. So I just need to keep the x, and then I need to flip this on the other side. So 300 divided by p is equal to x, which is c. So that's c. Well, so I think this is hard, and I'm realizing that the SAT does focus on this. The SAT does want to make sure that you understand when I say p%, that means p, the integer value, or some sort of natural number value, or I guess it doesn't have to be a natural number. What do you call it? Some sort of rational number value p. Okay, some sort of rational number value p divided by 100 is equal to p%. So, so I guess that's the main. I guess this is a really important thing for the SAT. I didn't know that. For me, this is so intuitive because I used to work with percentages all the time in my work. Because I'm a product manager, I have to do like projections of numbers and stuff, and I'm talking to like developers. So this is so intuitive for me. It's like super useful to be able to make this translation very quickly. But if you're not making this translation very quickly, it means that there is something you can work on right there. So you just should know that p% equals p over 100. And then after you do that, then on the left and right side of the equation, you just like mess with it until you get the variable you need. So that is that. Let's move on to 29. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function f displays as the base or the coefficient? Vocabulary that I'm not 100% sure on. The y-coordinate of the y-intercept of the graph of y equals fx in the xy plane. The f? Okay, let me remind myself what this means, because I think I got this correct. I just don't remember how to parse this. Oh, the y-coordinate. So I see. You want the y-coordinate somehow of the y-intercept. So you want to basically y equals mx plus b. You want to have the b because that is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. Okay? So you want to see some form of the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. But you need to show it as the base or the coefficient. You need to show it as the base or the coefficient. So how am I going to show it as the base or the coefficient? I got this one right from what I remember, but I don't remember how to get it right. So here's me just like messing around with numbers. F of x is equal to 3 to the minus 2x minus 2. Okay, that's the power. So I can actually divide this into 3 to minus 2x times 3 to minus 2. Okay? Now, minus 2x means hang on. 2 to the minus 1. 2 to the minus 1 is 1/2. 2 to the minus 2 is equal to 1/4. 2 to the minus 3 is 1/8, right? So 1/3 1/9 2x. Bro, I'm messed up right now. Times 1/9. And I think this was actually one of the answer choices. It's actually B. You know what it is? I just don't remember this formula. I don't remember this formula. But I think B is the correct answer because I think that's what I chose from memory. But I actually totally guessed on this one. Just because I'm going to go with B again. Yeah. I'm going to go with B again because this kind of feels to me like it's the y-coordinate. Like the y-coordinate feels to me like it would be. Oh, you know what? The way I got it, I made f of 0. I just double checked f of 0. So what happens when you do f of 0? Then you get 1/3 of 0 times 1/9, which is equal to 1/9, right? And I realized that this is the coefficient or base. Okay, I don't really know what the correct word is, but 1/9 is the coefficient or base, and it does show up. So basically, right, because when you're looking for the y-intercept, you want to see that x over 0, that you want to see f of 0. You want to see f of 0, function of 0. So that's how I got it. Wow, that took me a while to like think up the reasoning for that. But yeah, the 1/9 is clearly visible in this version of the formula, so that is definitely B. You want the 1/9 to show up, and this is much easier to do than I thought about it. If I were to do it again, I just need to see the 1/9, right? So how do I know that I need to see the 1/9? I just plug in 0. So y is equal to function of 0 is equal to, and then I'll just solve for it. So the original equation over here is 3 minus 2 of 0 plus 1, right? And then I would know that this is equal to 3 minus 2 equals to 1/9. And then I'm looking for this 1/9 in one of the answer choices, and only B has 1/9 as an answer choice. So that actually shouldn't take that much time. It should be pretty quick. It just took me a lot of time because I was trying to remember what the hell I'm looking for. 30. Two different store owners in a shopping center estimated the percentage of all visitors who wear eyeglasses. They each selected a random sample of the shopping center visitors and recorded whether they wear eyeglasses. The results from each sample are shown below. Percentage visitors wearing eyeglasses. Sample A was 21%, sample B was 21%. They were both 21%, but the margin of error is 3% versus 2%. If the associated margin of error was calculated the same way, so assuming that they used the same method, which of the following is the most likely reason that the result for sample A has a larger margin of error? When you have a larger margin of error, if your data is less reliable, it means because you had a smaller sample. So that means sample B had a larger sample than sample A. Sample A had a smaller sample, so that's definitely B. They both had the same percentage of visitors, so this C and D is sort of nonsense. Okay, 31. A limestone stalactite grew in length at 0.18 millimeters per year. At this rate, how many years would it take? Well, to get 4 out of 1.8x, you just need, how many years do you need? You just multiply it by 8. So you multiply 8 on both sides, so that's 32. Question 32. The solution to the given system of equations xy is xy. What is the value of 2x? I kind of get tripped up on the meaning of these sentences. So what's the value of 2x? Oh, sorry. Okay, I swear I didn't see it. I didn't notice the letter, the number. Okay, so I just like blanked out and thought about it on my own. So let's just find out what x is equal to. X is equal to and x is also equal to 4 plus y. Dude, I forget. How am I supposed to do this? So just make these equal to each other, 4 plus y. Oh, I see, yeah. So then it's 6 is equal to 2y, so y is equal to 3. All right, there we go. Right. So if y is equal to 3, then x is equal to 7. So 2 of x is 14. Okay. Wow. That took me way too long. I just like blanked out on how to do that. It's shocking that I even can get the score that I can get without even remembering these things. 3, x minus 3. Oh, okay. That's pretty straightforward. So 3 of root of x minus 3 plus 10 is equal to 22. Well, let's subtract 10 on both sides. And then let's divide by 3 on both sides. So what do you get? Root of x minus 3 is equal to 12 divided by 3, 22 minus 10, which is 12, divided by 3, which is 4. So then root both of these and you get 16. The average speed and the number of laps for a given racing team. for how many laps was the average speed greater than or equal to 150? So that's just this. 57 plus 52 plus 35. So 57 plus 50. So that's, I'm just looking at the single digits. 7 plus 2 plus 5 is 14. And then 5 plus 5 plus 3 is 13, but then add one more, so that's 14, so 144. Okay, long jump distances. Aditi and Bella each attempted the long jump 5 times during a track meet, and their distances are shown in the table. The mean distance for Bella's attempt was 0.3 greater than the mean distance for Aditi. What was the value of x? Okay, so let's actually count this up. For Aditi, it's 4.2 plus 3.8 plus 3.2 plus 4.0 plus 4.3. The average for Aditi is this divided by 5, right? So that's equal to, I'm looking at this 2, so that's, I'm adding them up, so that's an 8. And then I'm looking at these 2 and 5, so that's a 7.5, so that's 15.5. And then 15.5 plus 15.5 plus 4 is 19.5 divided by 5, okay? But for Bella, her average is 0.3 greater than Aditi's. So what that means is Bella minus 0.3 is equal to this. Okay? So what is Bella's average? Bella's average should be hang on. 195 divided by 5 plus 0.3, which is equal to 195 divided by 5 plus, what is 1.5 over 5, okay? 1.5 over 5 is the same as, hang on, if you multiply 0.3 times 5, then you get 1.5. So if you divide 1.5 divided by 5, then you get 0.3. Yeah, that's correct. So, okay. And the reason I kept the denominator at 5 is because then it makes it a little easier what the sum total is supposed to be. Okay? So what that means is for Bella's 5 values, for Bella's 5 values, what I just need the whole thing to equal 22, okay, 0.0. 19.5 plus, 21, sorry, 21. 21, because 19.5 plus 1.5 is the total that you need Bella's to be for the average to be 0.3 greater. So, if I want 21, then I just need to add up these other numbers. So what are Bella's 5 numbers? It is 4.4, and let's see if I can put something next to it. So there's 4.6, right? So 4.4 and 4.6 together is 9. Okay. And then let's look at the other ones. 3.7, 3.8. So this together is 7.5. Okay. So right now, combining these two, what we actually get is 16.5. So then we're looking for x over here. So how do you get x? Just subtract. X is equal to 21 minus 16.5. So it's equal to 4.5. It's a lot of work, but yeah, that's the correct answer. All right. 36. Whew. That was that was an intense one. All right. 36. What is the x? That was intense not because of the intellectual challenge of it, as much as the sort of just like all the calculations you have to do. It's so many calculations. I felt like a multi-thread processor. I was like, dude, I am being squeezed into a 3 nanometer process. What's going on here? So now let's move into question 36. What is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of the line? X-coordinate of the x-intercept. So we're oftentimes looking for the y-intercept, but here we're looking for the x-intercept of the line with the equation 5/4 of x plus 2/3 of y is equal to 1. Well, the way to get the x-coordinate is to make the y 0. So what is the function of actually, I don't know how to notate this in a way where it works. So I'm just going to say if y equals 0, I'm just going to use natural language. I'm going to use English right now to simplify it for myself. If y equals 0, then what is this function of x? Then x is equal to what? All right, that's basically the question that's in my head. So let's look at that thing. 5/4 x plus 2/3 0 is equal to 1, right? So we can just ignore this bit here. Because that's 0. And then just multiply 9/5 on both sides, so x is equal to 9/5. So the coordinate is 9/5, 0. So the x-coordinate is 9/5. And you anyway, it's 4. It's 4/5. I wrote this as a 4, but it looked like a 9 to me. Anyway, so I flipped it as I read it as a 9, but 4/5. I'm sorry. I just cracked up. All right, the College Board continues to do this thing where they kick you out every couple minutes. So let me turn this off and let me turn the screen off, sign back in, and turn it right back on. Yeah, writing in my iPad is such an unusual. My handwriting comes out kind of awkward. And I wonder if it feels any different if you use the Apple Pencil too. I have the old Apple Pencil, the original Apple Pencil, on this iPad Mini, and it's a little ugly, I think. I wonder if that's something they improve though over time. Okay, I can share my screen again. Give me a sec. My shortcut doesn't work. Okay, so there's my screen. Let me go to the questions. And I think I was at 30-ish. I don't. Oh, I was way past 30. I just did this, right? 36, and I did 5/4 or 4/5. 4/5. Okay, cool. So now we're here. Okay, close to the end. Close to the end. So what I'm doing right now is the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. Equilateral meaning that all sides are the same, right? With a height of 5 square root of 3. Now this means I have to use the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Right, because the equilateral triangle is basically two 30, 60, 90 triangles. So the perimeter, hang on, let me try to remember this. So this is the 30, 60, 90 triangle, the double 30, 60, 90 triangle. And I'm trying to get 3x, okay? I'm trying to get 3x. The height is 5 square root of 3. So, and this is x over 2, x over 2. So, is it 1, 2, and... Oh, no. Oh, I kind of vaguely... My gut feeling says something. This is what my gut feeling says. My gut feeling says this is actually 2x. It makes it easier. Yeah. So that means x is 5. So each one of these sides are 10. This is from memory. 30, 60, 90 means that the short leg times square root of 3 is the height. And then the short leg times 2 is the long leg. So x is equal to 5. So this is 5, 5. This is equal to 10. So the perimeter is 30. This is from memory, so let me see if I'm correct. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh, yeah. Math. All right, so... my math is such a mess. All right. But I survived with it. I happened to make it through, even with such messy math. In the system of equations shown, A is positive. For which value of A does the system have exactly one solution? So this is actually helpful to see this as a graph. Okay, so I'll do it in like a blue line. Okay, where this is -3. Okay, so it's helpful to understand that y equals x squared plus 10x plus a has to intersect one time. But because this is so x squared plus 10x plus a, I vaguely remember that being a parabola. Okay, I remember that being a parabola. So parabola, right, looks like this. Or this, right? Is parabola the right word? Actually, let me go, because I don't, let me make sure that parabola is the right word, because I keep making these, like, I keep not remembering the right, exactly. And let's actually just double check. The formula of a parabola is, what is this very confusing formula that I've never, that I don't remember? But, wait, what's a quadratic formula? What's it? Yeah, isn't a quadratic formula a parabola? Quadratic formula parabola? Isn't that what that is? I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Quadratic formula. Yeah, so this is a quadratic formula. So yeah, I know that it has to be a parabola. So how can there only be one solution? Okay, one solution. Well, there can only be one solution not when the parabola doesn't intersect at all. Okay, actually, I'll do this in a different color. I'll do it in green. Okay, so this blue is when y is equal to -3. Okay, so let's do green. In green, it's y equals some parabola. Okay. So which kind of parabola only intersects with the blue line once? Is it like this, like this, like this, like this, like this? No, none of these intersect whatsoever. For these parabolas, there is no solution. How about like these, right? No, this doesn't work because these don't work because they actually intersect twice every single time. So you guys should be able to predict what the correct answer is. The only kind of parabola equation formula that can have share one solution with y equals -3 is one where the vertex intersects. Where only the vertex intersects. You know, something like this. It could be positive or negative, doesn't matter, but the vertex has to intersect. Now, in the system of equations shown, a is a positive constant. For which value of a does the system have exactly one distinct real solution? A is positive though? All right, let's go and do some dirty work. Let's figure out, let me factor this. Isn't positive A the y-intercept? Oh, I see. No, you have to find the vertex. So I need to be able to rewrite this thing. Okay. X plus 5 squared is equal to x squared plus 10x plus 25, right? Okay, but then you want the y to be minus 3 when x is... No. I have to remember the formula. I have to remember the formula, and my high school studying is not producing the formula right away. Okay, how about this? I need the quadratic formula, or the formula for the parabola that gives me the vertex. There is a formulation of this formula that gives me the vertex. And I don't remember this, but whatever it is, the vertex has to come out to minus 3. Hang on, so how do I force a formula, how do I simplify this where the y at the vertex is minus 3? The y at the vertex is minus 3. So that means I have to have some sort of y plus 3 squared somewhere. The y plus 3 squared has to be somewhere. Oh, Jesus. Dude, I don't think I could explain this. I think I got this one wrong too, right? Like, I just don't remember the formula to get this kind of parabola. Like, the x part doesn't really matter because it could be anywhere. But what does the value of a have to be, right? Well, y plus 3 squared has to be part of this equation. So let me see what happens if I do this. Y plus 3 squared equals y squared plus 6y plus 9. So whatever this a is, it has to have some sort of connection to the 9, right? But then I'm seeing a 10x. So I'm seeing a 10x, right? So that means it's x plus 5 squared. I'm seeing some sort of x plus 5 squared thing where we get like a x squared plus 10x plus 25. Oh God, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this because my very lazy brain wants to just be like, yeah, 25 minus 9. That's 16. So that's the correct answer. That's my, because this is me not remembering the formula. And I actually, earlier, I kind of have to eat my words now. Earlier, I was talking about how I did the effort of proving every formula I ever learned from 8th grade on to myself so that crazily enough, more than 15 years later, I still remember these formulas, but I don't remember this one. I don't remember the formula for the quadratic, or for this parabola in a way that shows me the vertex. So my gut feeling, just from lazy Saul who didn't do math for 15 years way, is 25 minus 9. But I feel like it's going to be wrong, but it's my best guess right now. 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah. How the hell did I get this right? I don't remember. How did I get this right a month ago? If I took it today, I wouldn't be able to get it right now. Oh my God. Being so stupid. Okay, let's do this again, guys. There's one solution. And you know what? You can just plug in y equals minus 3 into minus 3 is equal to x squared plus 10x plus a. But then this is equal to, okay, x plus 5 squared minus 25 plus a. Okay, so, oh my god, what? I went through all of these hoops to try to explain the reasoning, and it turned out the answer was right in front of me. So all I need to do is add this 25 on both sides, and then I get a 22 is equal to this quadratic plus a. So like this is the thing that you can kind of just work with. But yeah, I still don't know because my equations are whack. You know, I don't remember these equations anymore. I don't know exactly why this works. I just know it works at the moment, but I don't know why. So I will not be able to explain that during this stream because I want to just do this stream since people were asking for it. I'm just doing it. But yeah, I didn't study up just to do the stream, so I am not going to be able to give you a good explanation for this. If anybody wants to go ahead and offer their explanation for why it has to be 22, and like, you know, if you want to be like a mini teacher for a day, go ahead and share your explanation in the comments or chat below. But I unfortunately will not be able to do so. I have not the mathematical prowess to do this. Let's continue. Oh, is that the final question? That is the final question. All right, so that's... Hey, I actually... this was better than the time when I did the math without calculator section. I actually only got stuck... I only made one dumb error. Actually, I made two dumb errors, but one of them took even less time. And then I only got stuck on this last one. So I guess this was a more successful stream than the last one. That said, I still don't feel very confident talking about math in public like this. So I do think I'm going to stop with the math streaming. I'm going to focus on the reading and writing because that's what I'm really confident in. That's what I'm good at. And that's where I have a lot of opinions to share. So I will adjust my testing schedule. I will no longer be doing the math tests on stream. Okay, I will be doing the EBRW, the reading and writing verbal sections on stream. So so this description right now, if you look at the if you look at the description right now, that description is wrong. I'll update it right after this. But it says that I'm going to take the May 2019 math test, and I decided, you know what, it's kind of a whim, honestly, but I'm realizing I'm just not that great at explaining math. So I did it for the March 2022 because that's the one that I shared my actual score on. But all the practice QASs that I do from now until the May test, I will be doing only the reading and writing, where I can explain things in real time, and I still feel confident doing it and everything. And then maybe in the final week, right before the May test, I might do some self-studying on my own to improve my math literacy, so that at least I know what coefficients are and I know what constants are. So I know at least the vocabulary so that I'm able to speak about it when my math SAT score comes out, okay? But I will not be doing the math streaming anymore. I just, I know some of you guys like it. I mean, enough of you guys like it that you guys kind of like made me do this stream today, but doing, I mean, I think the choice is between doing things that are good versus doing things that are great within limited time. If there's limited time, if there's unlimited time, then I can do good things and great things. Doesn't matter, I don't have to choose. But if I have a limited number of hours that I can devote to the streaming every day, then I would rather choose the thing that I'm great at rather than just merely good at. And that's sort of my reasoning for stopping the math streaming. Okay, there's plenty of math teachers out there, and maybe some of you guys prefer my style or whatever. But yeah, I really want to focus on the thing that I'm really good at or that I really enjoy teaching. So that's why I'll be changing my plan. besides that, guys, it was still fun getting through this with you guys. And I really enjoy the support. You guys are very supportive of me. So, you know, guys, just keep on growing. Keep on growing. Every single day when you go and review a question that you got wrong or a question that you got right but you were low confidence on, take out a single lesson that you can actually apply, okay, immediately. Don't just sort of be vague about what you're going through. Actually draw a lesson out of it and be like, okay, I can change this starting today. And then if you do that, you'll be growing a little bit every single day. And that will help you in the long term. I'm seeing a comment right now. Mohammed, your question is, you are taking the SAT tomorrow. Any last minute grammar reading advice? Tomorrow. Oh, you're doing the test. You're doing a school day. Okay. I don't know if it's if it's one day. If it's one day, I would just say some real basic ones. Okay. More important than anything else right now is being well slept and feeling confident. Being well slept and feeling confident. So get a lot of sleep. Don't like eat or drink things that you don't normally eat or drink, okay? Because your body will need time to get adjusted to it, so that might mess up your rhythm. So don't do anything new in the morning that you don't normally do. Just sleep a little more. And then with the verbal, some things to keep your confidence high, okay? One of the things that happens is when you don't understand the passage or when you don't understand a question, that can actually affect the subsequent questions because you start getting psyched out. You know, you start getting nervous. It's like, oh my God, 13. I feel so crappy. 13. And then that actually, because you have a negative feeling that carries with you, that actually affects your performance on 14 and 15 and 16 and 17. And if this compounds, it gets really bad. You know, it's like coronavirus. It's like COVID. It just keeps it keeps leaping to other areas that it shouldn't be. So to use that metaphor, quarantine it. And how do you quarantine it? Circle it. Be like, I'm going to guess and move on. I know this is an extremely common advice, but this one is something, this kind of advice I strongly agree with. Especially the part where you circle it. The reason is, when you circle it, or you can put a big question mark next to it if you prefer, whatever it is, if you do it physically, you don't just do it in your mental, you don't just do it in like a mental state, like, oh, 13, I will ignore it, and just mentally tell yourself you're going to ignore it. If you actually physically mark it so that you can remind yourself to ignore it, your sort of heart will feel done with it. It's like, okay, 13, I'm done. You know, you can sort of move on and not get bothered by it. So please do something physical, circle it, guess, move on, and then come back when you have time. So that's something to keep your confidence up rather than down. Another basic piece of general advice, okay, because I don't know your reading abilities, I don't know your reading writing abilities, I'm going to keep it real general right now. It's also, you only have one day, you can't do that much. Just remind yourself that the SAT is only one small part of your overall progress as a student, and the thing that colleges want to know is not merely are you smart enough to get a good score on the SAT, okay? Because that's just one small part of the picture. If you want to get into a good college, just remind yourself, hey, I'm a good person that does cool things. And as I'm doing these cool things, I also have this SAT score, which should prove to the college board to the colleges, to the college admissions offices, that I can take on their academic challenges. That's all it does, okay? So reduce the tendency that maybe your parents, that maybe your peers in school, or that maybe just other people around you besides your parents and your peers have of making you feel like this is the end all be all, that this is the most important thing. It's not. Your life is a much bigger, more beautiful, more interesting complex of things than this one simple little test. Okay, so keep yourself with a sense of humor about the SAT, with a sense of remove a little bit of distance from the emotional distance from the SAT. Get some good sleep, and whenever you notice yourself tensing on a question, like question 13, for example, circle it, guess, move on. Don't let it affect the rest of your test. Quarantine it and move on. Okay. Keep yourself as relaxed as possible. Now, I can get a little bit more detailed, like about breath. Like if you notice your neck is tensing, your shoulders are like curling, you're like fidgeting, okay? A couple basic physiological things is keep your 2 feet planted on the floor, okay? Plant your 2 feet on the floor. Give your abs a little bit of a squeeze, give it a little bit of tension, and just breathe slowly. And even this kind of thing, this is something that you can do 3, 4, 5 times during the test. Just whenever you notice you're being really tense, relax. Even that will clarify your thinking just for that moment. It might only last 2 minutes, but that 2 minutes you might actually get a question correct instead of incorrect. So that's another thing that you can do on the real test. Okay. Fine. Oh, I just realized I'm not saying anything very specific to verbal, but something a little bit more specific to verbal is unlike the math. Read the question stem. So many of you guys get like 2, 3, 4, 5 questions wrong on a test just because you are rushing through the question stem. Read the whole thing, predict the answer, and then choose your answer choice, rather than half reading the question stem, going straight to the answer choices, A, B, C, D, and then starting to juggle A, B, C, D simultaneously. Just constantly juggling. It keeps you overly anxious when you do that, okay? If you don't read the question stem properly, you just go straight into A, B, C, D, and you start looking, oh, A, it says the word angry, and I remember there was an angry part of the passage, and then, oh, B, it says the word depressed, and that I kind of remember a different character that says depressed. If you just do that, you're just juggling too many ideas at the same time. Don't do that. Read the question stem, predict the answer, and then find the one that you're looking for, okay? It'll keep you much more relaxed as you do that. That said, if this is a totally new idea for you, you've never actually done this before, then I guess one thing you could do today is maybe take like 2 passages right now, like maybe before you sleep. Take 2 passages, just review them real quick, and try doing it both ways. Try doing it the way you're used to, and then try doing it the way that I said. And then if you find out the way that I said is very unnatural for you, then forget it. Forget my advice. Maybe you can use that advice maybe sometime in the future. But if it feels unnatural for you at the moment, then forget it. But if it feels like it actually clarifies, like if your brain feels clearer when you're doing that, then go ahead and use it tomorrow. Okay. So test it out right now, and then see which one works for you. Because right now it's the last minute. You can't really change your whole strategy in one day. So test which one works better for you and just stick to that. Don't change your plan. Don't change your plan like tomorrow during the middle of the test, okay? That would be bad. Okay. So I've been speaking a lot. My voice is starting to go out. I wanna take a quick break. Like I said, one more time, May 2019 math, I will no longer be doing it. I'm gonna just be focusing on the EBRW. Guys, keep perspective on your life, okay? The SAT is not the only thing in your life. There's relationships, there's hobbies, there's the thing that you geek out about, whatever that is. You're like the little expert of one little thing, right? In this world, you focus on the things that give you joy. And the SAT, it's just to show, in like academically, the level that you can perform at the level that the colleges require. That's all it is. It's just one part of the application, okay? So stay chill and keep a good perspective about it all. I'll see you guys in the next one.